Hey everybody, how are you today? Happy Monday. Welcome to Making Connections. And of course, this is your girl Allie. Mondays and Saturdays are my favorite time. And I don't, why is it every time we go live, Shakita, my voice does this? But you guys, welcome today. We know that on Mondays we have our guest experts, and the third Monday of every month is the Pure Wisdom Prophetic Corner with Miss Shakita Malloy. And I just want to say hello. How are you?
Happy Monday.
Miss Shakita has been busy. I'm telling you, when I tell you to follow her, and if you don't have nothing to do and you need something to do, this is young lady right here. She's doing great things in the community. So, Shakita, just in case somebody doesn't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Of course, I am Shakita Malloy, and you have me now as Pure Wisdom's Prophetic Corner, where I'm a published author, motivational speaker, and life coach, prophetically. And for those the ones that want to follow me and find something to do, you can find me in my nonprofit organization, Another Chance House of Refuge. We are a 501c3 organization, and we are big. We are doing many, many, many great things in the community. And Allie, it's funny because as we was watching, kind of looking at the slides, I was like, oh, Another Chance is everywhere.
Right? It is.
Everywhere doing a lot of great things, making change within the community.
Right, right. And we got to highlight that. We got to let people know because there are some people who are looking for things to do, put their hands to. There are some people who are looking for things to support, to help the community, and then there are people who need help. So, we got to let everybody know about the resources that are out there.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
Yes. So today we're going to jump into our topic, and we're talking about grief. And I'm just going to give a real quick definition. It says grief is deep sorrow, especially that caused by someone's death. But it also says, there was another one that I liked. I thought I screen captured it. It says a strong, sometimes overwhelming emotion for people, regardless of whether their sadness stems from the loss of a loved one or from a terminal diagnosis or someone they love has received a diagnosis. So, I'm just going to say for me, every time I would hear the word grief or I would think about it, I would associate it to death, the loss of a loved one or something like that. And I went through something a few years ago and I was talking, honey, I talks to a counselor. Yes, I do.
Me and you both.
And she was saying, did I jump into this? Did I give you a chance to introduce yourself? You did. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. Stay focused. Okay. So, and she was like, I said, I don't really know what to call it. I said, I don't think I'm depressed. I've been that. I don't think it's that. But she said, well, let me just throw out some words because I don't want to tell you what you're feeling. But when it resonates with you, just acknowledge it. And she said, grief. And I was like, I said, yeah. I said, I'm grieving. I said, I can be grieving this. And she's like, yes. And so we talked about that. And so, you know, it's so many things that can make you grieve because it's a loss, whether it's of a person, an income, um, a house. And sometimes you get to that point and you grieve. Can you speak to that, Shakita?
Absolutely. When you say that, what comes to mind? Many things came to mind, but to sum it up in a nutshell, what came to me was endings, right? So anything that comes to a complete stop, halt, or end, we feel painful or sorrowful about it, regardless of what that is. And with the COVID pandemic, a lot of people are grieving relationships, relationships for one, and the other thing of terminal illnesses for two. And you don't know how to process those emotions because everything is just an emotion. And when we learn how to master and accurately respond to our emotions, the grief process is become a little bit easier for us. It's never easy, and it's definitely something that we have to go through on a day-to-day basis. But it's just a ending that most people, we get in places where we get comfortable, right? We're comfortable, and we don't want that thing to come to an end. Of those good things, new seasons, new blessings, new lessons, new chapters. Turn the book. I just start a whole nother book, whatever it looks like. A lot of people get stuck and stagnant on that page, and that's what creates that grief.
Wow. And sometimes, it's weird because you would think if it's, especially if it's something that's not serving you, you would be like, okay, you'd be glad to get rid of it. But because it's familiar to you, because it's what's been in your life for so long, you even grieve those things.
That is true. Grief, what really comes up, and what have been coming up, just even preparing for our time together here today, is relationships. And relationships comes in many forms. You have that longtime best friend, or that sister or brother that you guys may have had differences, and it's just not. It's not panning out how you want it to. You're not getting the results that you want or that you seek, and it causes you to feel uncomfortable. And with that comes grief, because then you begin to play in your mind mentally all of the different scenarios, just what humans do. We rationalize, and we play these many different scenarios on what could have happened, what could I have done, or what should have happened, whenever you should have just allowed that experience to unfold as it's supposed to, organically.
Wow. And it is that fear, even because you don't know what's going to happen next. You know, you're like, even like you're saying, like with COVID and things like that, because people haven't been able to even talk to their best friends like face to face. They might see them on FaceTime, but it's just something about getting together every now and then that makes a difference. And so, you're just like, I need to hug you, or I need to, whatever, or you're you're not listening to what I'm saying. I need to punch you in the arm or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that interaction. It does, and you miss it, and I think COVID has reminded us how important certain things are in our lives. And
That's true.
so it's just, and it's real, like you were saying. It's definitely real. What are some of the signs that people can know that they're, because isn't there a difference between depression and grief?
There is definitely a feeling difference between depression and grief. What really comes up for me with depression? Depression is really allowing putting yourself in a space, or consistently going into a dark space, reminding yourself over and over and over again of something that you can't change. Right? That's a depressed state. Insanity, doing the same thing or thinking the same thing repeatedly that is not getting you different results. That's depression. But then when you talk about grief, grief is really endings. That what comes to me, endings, and we get comfortable with, because we're creatures of five senses: sight, taste, smell, hearing. And when we're not able to fully utilize all of those senses, and some people are fortunate to have all, some people aren't. But whenever you have the ability to be able to utilize all your five senses, you get comfortable. And when you lose that grief, when you lose that, it gives you just that uncomfortable feeling like you're missing something, or something has died, or something has ended. Death doesn't necessarily have to be a physical death. Death can mean your flower ending, like you said, like I state, the relationship ending, or you're not being able to touch your loved ones, like COVID. Those things that you're used to, those things that you're normal to, the comfortability. We are creatures of habit, right? And whenever we can't, when we're pushed out of our habit or our usual, it puts us in uncomfortable places. But you don't grow in comfort. You don't grow in comfort. So most people, most humans are, they're comfortable. used to doing the same thing every day. That's just their routine. That's what worked for them. When something or comes and disrupt that it gives them that uneasy. Grief is uneasiness. Grief is definitely feeling uneasy, like you're missing something or something is just not right.
Hmm. And that what you're saying, that those endings, and that's, I think we concentrate on that so much. Oh my gosh, this is ended. This job has ended. This contract has ended. This process that I was going through and establishing my business. Even sometimes when you're doing that and it opens, you still go through some type of grief because you've been so busy going through the process, and every day you've had to check your to-do list and make calls and do stuff, and you're like, now it's open, what happens next? So but we concentrate on those endings instead of saying, okay, so what's next? you know like in a relationship, this ended, but it's okay. I'm
Mhm.
still here. I still have the opportunity to meet a new best friend, meet a new boo, find a new spouse, what have you. But we're still stuck on the ending. How can we get out of that? How can we move from there? Because a lot of times I think people are in shock or denial. And you're thinking, oh, let's just continue with relationships. Oh, he's going to come back. They're going to come to their senses. They're going to realize, and you stay stuck. But it's just over.
It is. How do we heal through that? What does that look like? What are some of the action steps that we can take as humans? Most importantly is adaptability. Being able to adapt. That to-do list is going to change. You're going to turn the page. And what I say will help with that is many people, like we say, we have that complacency and that comfortability. Whether you're coloring, find things to occupy your time instead of soak or reminisce or relive all of those different past memories, because it's past, it's not present. So when you focus on what's in front of you right now in the present moment, let's just say you like coloring. Color, create you a new to-do list. Let's say you like to read. Find different books to read. Let's say when you speak it from the business perspective, the business has ended. What is that next fire burning desire inside of you that you can go on to next? Because we are creatures, we are species, the only species that have many different talents. And whenever we're able to change gears and put focus on our new talent, because we have many talents that lie dormant, focus on that. Turn the page. Find other things to occupy your time. Find different activities to move away from the past.
I know we were talking to one of the ladies, responded on the post, and she was like, what she does is she stays busy, then she helps other people because she knows what the grief process is like. So she'll throw herself into helping other people. Then she said, prayer and, meditation is also good too, because you're centering yourself. And one of the things when I was, preparing as well, it said when you're in that state, just be very conscious of like continuing to sleep, get enough sleep, continuing to eat, because sometimes you're so depressed or you're grieving, you don't realize you haven't eaten for 3 days. You don't realize you haven't showered, changed clothes, been outside. So those are some of the things that will help you get through the process. Now everybody's process is different. Everybody's journey and the time length is different. So, don't compare your, like Shakita and I could go through the same thing, like, or, see the same incident in the same place, but it could affect us differently because I maybe have seen this in my childhood. So now I'm thinking about my childhood. Now this is happening again. You know what I'm saying? So don't compare yourself, but absolutely take care of yourself.
I agree with that. And what comes into place is accountability. Having that one person or that group of people to check on you, to be that support, because we can't live this life alone. I don't care how many people say, oh, I can do this by myself. You cannot. This
Right.
life is tough. This life is challenging. This journey of living just in this physical world and physical existence, it is hard. And the more quality individuals that you have in your life that support you and encourage you and assist you and most importantly inspire you, it helps you move along further. And then you mentioned something about time. There is no time frame. We as humans, we get stuck on this 24-hour clock and this 12-month
True.
calendar. That is not God's timing.
True.
God's timing can be 3 months. God's timing can be 3 days. God's timing can be 30 years. Regardless of what that looks like, you trust that timing. And while you're trusting that time and making sure that you're occupying your time. And like the young lady stated on the post, giving is one of the most easiest ways to fulfill yourself, and not just fulfill yourself, but help someone else. You help your fellow man. I always say there's unity in the community and teamwork makes the dream work. That is true.
Yes.
That is true.
I like that. And yeah, you're right, because then sometimes when you're helping somebody else, have you ever I'm sure like in the community, you like, okay, we're gonna go out here, we're gonna help everybody, but then you come home and you're feeling more inspired yourself because of the people you have met. It happens.
It does. And one of the amazing things is, even with my latest book, my most only book is for now, it's Paradise. I use the mirror effect. Anyone that you come in contact with, they are a mirror of you in some type of way, shape, or form. There is something that you can learn from them and they can learn from you when you go in with preparation, that you're coming in to be a genuine help and support, regardless of what that looks like. It's always lessons to be learned, and there's always blessings to be given. So go in as a student. Always go in as a student, and watch how fast your life just changed just by one interaction.
Wow. That just reminded me of I think it's called Drop the Mic, TD Jakes, on YouTube, and he was saying that his mom told him that everyone you meet is a teacher. Life is a university. So every day you wake up, make sure you go to school.
Absolutely. I love TDJ. Listen, every day, in some form, in some type of way, I get reminders, even if I don't listen to, any of the sermons or any of the podcasts or interviews. It's some teaching that I have heard from him throughout the days of my journey. I do consider him as a mentor, even though he's not in front of me. But he is definitely a mentor because he is seasoned. And when I say seasoned, he understands life and he understands dropping the mic and turning the page.
Yes. And and another thing you have mentioned is about accountability, getting help. I know a lot of times we don't want people to realize how depressed we are because we don't want to admit it to ourselves. And so, when you're getting that accountability, and if it's really somebody that is assigned to your life, like you said, you're going to see some things. And you're like, I don't want to deal with that right now. I can't deal with it. And that's fine too, because the seeds are still being planted. You're okay. You're going to be okay. This will, you're always going to remember that person. You're always going to have those memories, but you are an overcomer. There's something, you're still here. And so because you're still here for a purpose and on purpose. There's something that God needs you to do. I don't care if it's even just to tell your story, because when you tell your story of what you went through, how low it took you, but how you overcame, you're being a mentor, just like TD Jakes. Like she said, I mean, I love TD Jakes. I do too, hear messages that I've heard years ago. So, we need you to survive because we need you to tell your story to help somebody else along the way.
Absolutely. When you say just, planting that seed, one of the things, I'm very radical, and I do I do things just totally unorthodox. But
Not you.
I, I understand what my purpose is, right? I understand what my purpose in life is. And, it's funny because as the life coach and just as a beacon of light for God, I have friends and people that I'm connected to, and I can sense being prophetic. I can sense and feel when something is wrong, but most importantly, I don't overstep boundaries. So even if it's just sending a text message, they might not even be thinking, they might not even be looking for something from me. Just sending that text message, hey, or just sending that positive inspiration, planting those small seeds, even when they don't ask for it. You have to have the ability to just spirit of excellence. When you operate in the spirit of excellence, spirit of excellence is doing when you don't have to be told what to do. So whenever you operate in that spirit of excellence, you just continue to harvest and grow the kingdom.
Mm-hmm. And something you were saying just reminded me that, even when you're sending those texts and things like that, you don't bombard them. You don't like tell them it's time. You're sending a message. And if they're not ready, you're letting them know that when you are ready, I'm here.
There you go.
When you are ready, this is the process I will help you walk through. I can't say that I understand because maybe I haven't walked this journey, but I know that I am here for you. I know that I can pray with you. I know that we can go out and, get some get some fresh air, take a walk. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because it's all those things that's going to help us along our journey and sometimes it is just going outside and you're like, oh, the sun is still shining, because you think everything is so dark in that moment. And then you start seeing things, and you're like, well, my loved one or my friend, they like this and they enjoy it. I'm going to go smell these flowers because this was their favorite flower. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you start saying, oh, this is a reminder. They're sending me a reminder. They're talking to me, telling me to go on.
There you go. There you go. Signs are always around you, and your nature is the biggest medicine. Nature is medicine for the soul. Mm-hmm. And I don't care how bad you're feeling, how upset you're feeling. If you just go outside and take 5 minutes, right. It can change your whole thought process. It can change what all you were thinking about. I recommend nature as medicine for anyone, including therapists, because I have my own therapist. But nature, get out your mind, because that is one of our main problems. Our mind is our worst enemy, thinking about what somebody might have said or what somebody might be thinking or what you should have done better or differently. Don't get out your head. I say all the time, get out your head and get in your life.
Ooh, I like that now. We need to get a t-shirt made with that on there.
Yes, I have so many different little slogans or sayings. Like, yeah. I need to.
Get out your head and get in your life. I like that one. Yes. Good. It's gonna be on my wall.
There you go.
Because I mean, and it's true. It happens to all of us. People feel like they're the only one going through, or when you're in that depressed state. I had a friend, and she was talking about she went through it, and she really her and her husband separated. She said her friends came over, and I guess they finally got in touch with like a cousin or something that had like a key. And so they came in. She said there was like to-go boxes where she just been ordering food and just, wasn't cleaning up or whatever. But they didn't judge her,
Right.
They just started cleaning up, So even if we can't get you up today, we want when you look out that you're not seeing all this. We want you to see that there's a path for you. See, we're making space for you to live. We're making space for you to come forward. So, we got to be careful about how we judge or what we say. And I know sometimes we can say something and we don't mean it the way that it comes out. But, if it's been said, if somebody told you it hurt their feelings, just take it as that and apologize and, just be like, whoa, let me explain. That is not what I meant, So it's still about conversation. It's still about, like you said, we can't do it by ourselves. It's still about us being together, helping everyone along the way. But when she told that story, I mean, I think half of us was crying because we thought, oh, that's so nice. They just came in and they were persistent and consistent. They didn't just not one time. They couldn't get in and went away. No, they kept going. Then they're like, oh, we know somebody's got a key. We're going in there because we want to make sure that she is okay.
That's it. That's it. I will say to that, two things that came to me was the first thing is, everyone that comes in your life, it doesn't necessarily come into your life to help you, and that's just being realistic. So I will say to anyone, if someone is not coming into your life to offer solutions to whatever it is that you have going on, it's just gossip. It's just nosiness, and that puts you in a further state of depression, into a further state of grief. So just be mindful of your relationships, and then even just like you said with the communication, TD Jake said it, and the therapist always say it. Make sure you get understanding, because we really, really leave with a sense of lack of understanding because we heard something, and instead of clarifying what it is that we heard, we go off on this tangent and we create all of these many different perspectives in our mind, right? So get understanding. Communication is extremely important. Ask someone. Therapists always say, you said what now? And I understand what I'm thinking, what I'm understanding you say is this. Right. And that person come back to you and say, well, yeah, that's what I said, but no, I meant it this way. That art of communication and really leaving with an understanding. And it's okay to have debates because you're not going to agree on everything, but have healthy debates and always come up with solutions.
Absolutely. I love this. I mean, so many people truly are grieving and they don't even realize it. So I hope that, some of the things that we've said today, if you are starting to see clutter around your house, if you are starting to feel like, start counting up the days, I haven't been outside, haven't taken a shower, haven't called anybody. If you're in that state, don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed. Pick up the phone. Start with just yourself. Go outside even if you don't feel like taking a shower. Yet, go outside, get the fresh air. One thing will lead you to another thing, but we have to start somewhere. We're saying this because we know what it feels like, and we know that sometimes it's hard to get back, but we don't want you to stay there. We don't want you to be stuck because life is worth living.
It is.
Shakita, you have anything else to share before you exit from us?
I would say just move at your own pace, living in your own race, and just continue to know that it's not your timing, it's God's timing, and everything always happens for your highest good.
Absolutely. So before you go, we also want you to tell them, we talked a little bit about another chance house of refuge, but tell us a little bit more about what y'all have going on and how they can follow you.
So with Another Chance House of Refuge, first and foremost, with Pure Wisdom, if you feel like you need someone to talk to, you need an accountability partner, that encourager, you can definitely reach out. You can send an email. That email can go to support. That's SUPPORT at purewisdominc.com. You can also just send a quick text, 704-562-7500, or leave a message. And that's Pure Wisdom. That's just to help you, encourage you, and support you along this journey of life. Another Chance House of Refuge, we're moving, willing, and dealing in the community. We have a lot of things going on right now. Most importantly, we have our first transitional home that we will be opening up the 1st of June, putting 8 to 10 men in that home, and we're currently accepting applicants. Applications are coming in on a tremendous scale, so make sure you get the application submitted. And we're doing the community events. We're having our big June mission with the Community Hub and One Time Eat Mr. Charles Robinson at 1245 Tom Hunter Road in Hidden Valley on June the 4th, we will be doing a prayer vigil for the whole community. Come out, bring your family, bring your friends, any pastor, clergy, ministers, start motivate the leaders. Come out and let's pray for our community. We know that there has been a lot of violence, a lot of chaos in our community, and we know that prayer changes things. So we'll come out on June the 4th, and then on June the 5th, we have 500 pair of shoes and 1,000 meals that we're going to be giving away for free. Everything is free. Everything is free. Come out, bring your family, bring your friends, and get a meal. Get some new shoes. We've partnered with Samaritan's Feet International as well to sponsor that event. So a lot of things going on in the community, and get prepared for our movies in the movie drive-in of this coming these summer months as well.
Oh, really? Yes.
We're doing movies.
I'm telling you. Definitely seek out Pure Wisdom, because if you're a business owner, if you're, again, somebody who is not really sure what your purpose is, but you have you feel like there's more in you, but you just don't know where to start or what it is, or, you feel like you have 4 talents and you don't know which one you should begin with. Definitely reach out to Pure Wisdom. Send that email, support@purewisdominc.com. Contact her on Facebook, so you guys can get connected. Because, it's just that season. It's time for us to not be in confusion. It's time for us to stop living in lack. It's time for us to get in our purpose and walk in our purpose. And, just to live. That is just my thing today. Live. Things happen in our lives. They take us down, but it's time to live. So Shakita, thank you again. Shakita is here every third Monday, y'all. She is our expert, the prophetic wisdom corner. And let me tell you, she's on it. And if you send her a letter, you can send her a letter. It doesn't have to be about the topic that we're doing that month. You can just send her a letter if you want something addressed on air, and we will definitely do that.
And if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, send those in as well.
Yes. So we're going to take a quick break, and Shakita, love you much, and I'll be in touch.
Yes.
And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Allie and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, everybody. So as you heard, we are making connections. Not only is this my show, but we also have a network. We also have a platform. And sometimes, that can be depressing. That can cause you grief because you're like, I just need somewhere to share my story. I need somewhere to share my talent, my skill. I just want to connect with people. So, you can be a guest expert, a monthly guest expert like Shakita, or you can start your own show. But again, if you're a little leery about that and you just want to get your feet wet, you can come on once a month, do your thing, and we'll help you along the way. We'll give you definitely guided steps and, show you what needs to be done because, again, there are so many of us who are hiding the things that we've been through and the things that are on the inside of us and our talents because we're afraid people aren't going to accept it or, we might not do well. But, it's all a process. Just like the grief process, it's a process. You have different steps that you go through. And so, we're here, we have the platform. And so, definitely, Shakita talked about a lot of the community events. And, another thing, is movement. And so there is a couple groups on Facebook, even if you're not ready to like be in person, they do a lot of virtual sessions. And so it's Unity Zoom Yoga and Taylor Riley Boxing. And I actually think Unity Zoom Yoga changed their name to Mindful Movement. But regardless, if you look up Unity Zoom Yoga or Taylor Riley Boxing, they have virtual events. They do boxing, they do kickboxing, they do Tai Chi classes, they do yoga. I think they have a lady that does chair yoga, like if your mobility is a little off or, for the seniors in your life, reach out to them and they are excellent. And whenever you're ready to go out in the summer, they go out and do hikes and different things. And so that will be Taylor and Carolyn, and they're awesome. So, definitely do whatever it is that you need to do to help you to overcome and to get through that process. I'm going to play a song for you right now. We had Clayton Savage on our show Saturday, and this is one of the songs that he is newly released, and it's called ADHD. And I think a lot of times when you're going through grief, when you're going through depression, when you're going through things, you act out. And so people only see how you're acting. They can't see what's on the inside. They don't know what's going on in your home. And so, we just have to look a little bit deeper before we give a diagnosis, oh, that person's just mean, or they're just evil, or they're just that. You don't really know what's happening. Take some time. And maybe if it's not you, just pray that somebody can come along and help them along the way. Because I believe also that's what happens with domestic violence. People are so angry on the inside. They're so frustrated and they just take it out on that person who never seems to leave them. And so, but it's something on the inside of them. And so, like I said, Clayton was on the show Saturday, and we do have his permission to play the song again today, but it's about ADHD. And so, just listen to the words and we'll be right back.
It's not a special ed disability.
You ain't never said nothing. She ain't never said nothing. He ain't never said nothing. Who the hell was it that said that I'm a
ADHD eclipses the academic opportunities for Black children and especially Black boys. What am I talking about? In special education, we have 13 diagnoses, 13 disabilities. What are they? Speech and language impairment, deafness, hearing impairment, blindness, brain injury, orthopedic impairment, autism, learning disability, emotional disturbance, other health impairment, and the list goes on. But when I say that special education is a weapon of mass destruction against Black boys, I'm talking about 4 specific disabilities. I'm talking about the learning disability. I'm talking about the emotional disturbance. I'm talking about intellectual disability. And I'm talking about ADHD is not a special ed disability. It's a weapon of mass destruction. Let me say it again. ADHD is not a special ed disability. It's a weapon of mass destruction against black boys. ADHD means ain't no daddy at home disorder. Now you might say, well, my daddy's home. Okay. Then it ain't no discipline at home disorder. Well, the daddy's home and there's discipline. Okay. Then it's an artificial diet at home. Sugar, caffeine, high fructose corn syrup, right? And then you might say, the daddy's at home, we have discipline, and we vegan, vegetarian, we don't do sugar, caffeine, or fructose. Then there's only one more. Attachment disruption due to home life dysfunction. What is attachment disruption due to home life dysfunction? That's a boy who goes to school and misbehaves because his father's in jail when he don't get to see him. That's a boy that goes to school and can't pay attention because his parents might be chemically addicted. And because of that, there's problems at home. Or maybe he's being sexually abused, or physically abused, or verbally abused. Or maybe the mother doing the best she can, but they have to move from house to house, or maybe even they're homeless. What is the point? My point is, what is often called ADHD is a family life situation, or personal emotional situation, or personal psychological issue disguised as a behavior problem. Disguised as a behavior problem. Disguised as a behavior problem. Disguised as a behavior problem.
Woo. Wow. Did that song affect y'all like it affects me? Again, a lot of times we see the activity, we see the acting out, we see the mouthing off, we see things, but we're only seeing a piece of it. You know, there's family situations, there's emotional situations. Like she said, there's so many things. Even with that diagnosis of ADHD, it's not what we think it is. It's not, we don't need to just give that diagnosis and give this pill because it may not be what they need. And most often is not. We've got to do more than just medicate. You know, we've got to get to the root of the symptoms. I am not a psychologist. I am not a therapist, you know, but I do see things in the community. I see things happening. I see boys and girls given medication, and they don't care if you take it in the summer because you're not in the classroom. But while you're in this classroom, I need you to sit quietly. But they don't care if you take it in the summer. You can be as wild and crazy as you want to. Then are you really trying to help this child? Are you really trying to make this child better? Or are you just trying to make somebody's life easy for 5 to 7 hours while they have to teach them? And I know we want them to be quiet so they can learn, but again, we're not getting to the root of the thing. Because then I've seen people on medication and they're just like zombies and they're still not absorbing, they're still not living life. So even with that, with grief, with depression, it's so many levels to it. And we've got to take the time to unpeel each level, making sure that each level is healed. Each level has been understood. Each level is ready to be taken off and dive to the next one. So it's so much, but definitely you are an overcomer. You can come through whatever it is. Get help, reach out. If you reach out to somebody, they're not helping, they're judging you, being insensitive, then that's not the person for you. And it's okay to let that person go and reach out to somebody else. Keep reaching out until you get the help you need. It is a process, and everybody's timing and everybody's journey is different, but the process is always to overcome. The process is always to end up in us moving forward. The process is always for us to become better people and learn how to deal with that, know that it happened, but know that it's not because there's a dysfunction in us. It happened. Even if it's a breakup in a relationship, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. They may have said that, but that doesn't mean that it's true. And you can find love again. You can live again. You can find joy and happiness and smile and laugh. And sometimes we don't want to do that because we don't want people seeing us laugh and cry. We just lost a loved one. They just died. Why are we laughing? Why are we out having a good time? Why are we shopping? Yes, it doesn't have to happen right away, but eventually you have to get back to that place. Your loved one, I feel like if you're that upset, then that means y'all had a very, very close relationship. That means y'all had a very strong love. And if you think about it, that person would want you to continue to live. Yeah. So that person wants you to continue to live. That person wants you to continue to prosper. Trust me, they do want you to laugh again, smile again, get out in the community, help somebody else along the way. All right. I hope y'all got something out of this. I hope this, encourages you. I hope that you feel loved. We're definitely here for you. If there's anything we can do. Again, like I said, I'm not a therapist or a psychologist, but honey, I know some. I do. And so I can definitely make that connection with what, the resource that you do need. All right. So we are making connections. We're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon. Go to our Facebook page, IG page, Facebook page, and like the page, turn on the notifications so you'll get notified whenever we go live. Again, these experts that come on and they're always sharing, they're sharing from their heart, they're sharing from experience, they're sharing from godly wisdom as well, because we're here for you. We want you to live your best life. All right. Well, again, this is your girl, Allie, making connections. Oh, guess what, you guys? I forgot to say this when Shakita was on, but this is the month that we celebrate our anniversary. We went live this year will be 3 years, Mother's Day weekend. So trying to plan a little something. What we had planned for this coming Saturday is going to have to be postponed because of somebody being in the hospital. But we're going to be celebrating our 3-year anniversary this Saturday while we're on the show. So go to our page, show us some love. And definitely, if you know somebody who's going through some things, share this video with them. All right. Well, this is your girl, Allie. And until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day, everybody.